Hi and welcome to Community Talks. My name is Emmett Cummins. In today's episode, our hosts Jonathan and Jayce will be discussing the problems facing the elderly in the Lower Mainland and the importance of human connection with Shannon Woykin, the Executive Director of Langley Meals on Wheels. Hope you enjoy.
Hello, welcome to Community Talks. We are here with Langley Meals on Wheels, and today we've gone on the road a little bit. We've gone off-site and we're visiting Langley Meals on Wheels at their facility in Aldergrove. I'm Jonathan Mock. For those that don't know, this is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Jayce Dinza, and we're here with Shannon Woykin from Langley Meals on Wheels. Shannon, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you guys do here?
Sure. I've been with Meals on Wheels for 7 years. I am the executive director, and Meals on Wheels is about caring for the community one meal at a time.
That's awesome, thank you. And tell us a bit about how you came to, you founded the company, yes? You founded this organization?
No, actually I didn't. It was incorporated in 1979, but Meals on Wheels came about after World War I, and so they are in every community if the community has the initiative to run them. They are all over the world, and actually you do not cross boundaries of your community. So we are Langley, and we don't cross over into Surrey, and we don't go into Abbotsford. So you stay within your community, but it is run by a board of directors, and then they have one staff member who is the executive director, and the rest is, yes.
Gotcha. And can you tell us about how you came to, or how the story behind Langley Meals on Wheels? What is it?
Meals on Wheels is started to deliver meals to people that are seniors usually, and that are or disabled or unable to cook for themselves. That is the story behind it. I think it's evolved over the years to a much greater need, and especially through COVID too, that there's been a need for food security of all ages. And that's what we've been building. And that's sort of what the vision was for this building.
So, how big has your Langley Meals on Wheels expanded, you could say, over the years while you've been in charge?
When I first started, we had 20 clients at that time, and now we have registered this last year over 563 clients. Now, the service that we provide is that we are here when you need us, and we are happy when you don't. So people come and go. It's mostly just that onboarding. How many people have we touched? And that is the 563 this year.
That's great. No.
Well, that must be hard to manage. So your staff must have expanded greatly over the years then.
We have. We went just a few years ago, just before COVID, we were myself and a part-time person. So we have now a staff of 7, but we have always had the backbone is the volunteers. We rely on our volunteers to hold us up and keep us walking forward.
That's great. What are some of the challenges you guys face here at Langley Meals on Wheels with the expansion and just your everyday?
Our everyday, I would still say, well, we grew so fast, like we just leapt instead of taking small steps. So did we catch up with capacity? No, all of the staff members are working full on right now, just until we bridge that capacity. And volunteers, we are always looking for volunteers because we need it to deliver the service every day. And now we've expanded to need volunteers in our kitchen, in our cafe. It continues. But the most thing that we need is people to be aware of what we do and all we do. I think until the part is that people come, they only know about us when they need us, and there's so much more we could do to prevent serious things or health deterrents happening if we were just in there maybe sooner. Because there's 3 things, your housing, your nutrition, and then social connection. Well, we cover 2 of those, and maybe we can help prevent somebody from losing their housing because we are affordable or we have outreach.
Yeah, as a nonprofit, it's so hard. You guys rely so much on your donors and your volunteers. How could you think you could expand your awareness even more so you can get more donors and more volunteers and just get everybody, who knows about the cause to actually come and help?
We have to start telling our story more, and we have to find different avenues in order to tell the stories, either through different demographics and through different partners that we have never thought of reaching before. We are going to have to look outside the box of how we've normally told our story, I think. And our cafe is what's sort of helping us with that secured funding, we hope, and to help support the BAC program. The cafe is only there to help.
Right, your cafe is newer, right?
It is. It started in January.
Could you tell us a little more about that and how that's helping you guys?
Well, we've had a thrift store in the past, but the cafe was something that we had always wanted, that we'd been working on for about 7 years. Did we think it was going to be what it is? No, that has totally way over exceeded our expectations. But we always wanted to open the door to the community in a way that we have never been able to before, because generally it's when they phone us and we go deliver to their door, but this is inviting the community in.
I think that's incredibly important, because a lot of people don't understand that this is just, it's more than a meal delivery service. And I think that needs to be said to that needs to be told, needs to be shared. And for example, back to the cafe here, we're shooting above the cafe right now. We're in an open space that is very well furnished. And could you tell us a bit about what the plans are for this space here and what?
Right.
Yeah.
So we had always hoped that if we had this vision of everyone coming together, that Meals on Wheels is a smaller organization in regards to charities, and what we wanted to do was share space so that even more people can come in from the community to access food or food bank or other service providers. And so it's sort of like a one-stop shop where they come in and they find they need one thing, but then right down the hall or in another room or downstairs is another that they need.
I think it's a very important idea. And and we also have some other items on the front of the table here we'd like to showcase. These are, why don't you tell us a bit about these here?
Well, Spoons on Fire was, along with this building, which was generously given to us by the Township of Langley, they also wrote a grant for us because we had this idea of connecting to local farmers, which there's a lot of them, and the grocery stores, and rescuing that ugly fruit and vegetables that they're perfectly healthy and nourishing, but that they're often just thrown out. And we can repurpose them into something that is now new and healthy and local and help support people that need extra.
I think it's really great when, organizations are able to take what's basically waste and turn it into something usable.
Yes.
It's super good for the environment, and it shows a lot of initiative overall.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't here, it's a great environment here. It's very cozy downstairs. It's like a family environment. It's very friendly. All the workers and everyone here talks to you when you walk in. They say hello. It seems like a very nice place. And even upstairs, like you spoke about, it's such a great area that I don't think other members of the community wouldn't hesitate to come up here and use it for their own space. So it's really great that you guys are really focusing on the community and the fact that you guys want to help each other out.
I believe we also had some of the food items from downstairs. Did we have them? Right there. You can show these. Yeah. So why don't you speak a bit about this as well, Shannon?
This is also the
they were also
Spoons on Fire.
Sorry. These were frozen items that were also made.
Yes, but you were talking about the baking,
Right.
The baking and the lunch. So again, we're keeping it really similar to our program. You can have the meal of the day that we offer for our clients. You can also come in and purchase that, and or a sandwich and a salad, or a sandwich and soup. We're trying to keep it very similar to our program, but yet very affordable, so that everyone feels welcome here.
So Shannon, if you can maybe, kind of tell us part about some of the volunteers or the donors that have been here longer when you were first here, and maybe the most impactful ones. Maybe tell a story about them.
Okay. Let me see. One of the funniest stories that I can think of from way back was when one of our volunteers couldn't show up for her shift. So normally our volunteers, we ask them to come only once per week and stay with the same clients so that they can really see a change. Unless if they were with somebody every day, they wouldn't see it, or if they had different routes. So she couldn't come in, and she was so sorry, and I said, no problem, staff will do that. And then she said, okay, but I have to tell you about this person. So we started making notes. Make sure you say this. Okay, we will. And then we went on to the second. And by the time we were done, we had 3 pages of handwritten notes, because she wanted to make sure that we were going to care for her clients, which she called her people, the way she would have if she was driving that route that day. So that is huge. And so impactful that she said, remember to tell the one lady that you love her, because she hasn't heard that in over 50 years, because she has no family and nobody else says love to her. So say love and make sure you pat her on the back. And those are like the stories that just, they're funny, but they're so impactful.
They're deep as well. Yeah,
They are.
They definitely.
Well, yeah, like you said, there's so many seniors that this organization helps out. Most of them are on their own or have their physical disabilities or mental disabilities, whether it be memory and all that stuff like that. So really who you send matters, right?
It does,
and
yes.
what they do for them matters. And that could be the only interaction they have with someone all day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's massive. That's, I think, for me, when looking into your organization, I think that's one of the biggest things that I looked at. More than just delivering foods, is about the interpersonal reaction, interaction that the clients have with volunteers.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, our volunteers are going into some of the most vulnerable people in our community, and nobody else, no other service providers are open the door like they are to us. We're bringing a meal and a friendly smile. So those volunteers are the eyes and the ears of those that most need it.
It's a great story. Thank you for sharing.
I guess, do you have any stories about how Langley Meals on Wheels kind of started and what happened and how you joined? Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I joined as, when I first joined, I was part of a program that was going to go out in the community to different areas in the community and have a social luncheon for seniors. So they would come in, be able to meet new people or come with their friends, and there'd be an educational piece or entertainment that, related to seniors. And it was a place where some people still to this day say that's where they met their friends that they have now. And that was like 13 years ago, because I've only been in this position for 7. That's where they met their friends that they still are friends with today. So that was that congregate social dining. And that's where I started with them, with Meals on Wheels.
Wow, that's amazing. So Meals on Wheels has various programs as well, right?
We do.
Could you maybe talk about the different programs you have there? I know a lot of seniors have a lot of different scenarios going on, and a lot of, not just seniors, other people as well, right? So
Right.
I know you guys help a variety of people. You maybe explain the different kind of social groups?
Sure. So we started a program about 5 years ago. We piloted, it's called Home from the Hospital is what we called it. And so that was where we really saw a disconnect of people leaving the hospital and then actually signing up for our service. So we decided to eliminate that whole process And with a generous donation from a donor that wanted us to do something really meaningful with it, we created this program where when somebody gets out of the hospital, all we need to know from the nurse is their name and their phone number and their address, and we are going to be there the next day or that day to deliver a meal to them. So that became very popular, and we still use it today, and we have expanded it. So that program is for anyone that is going home alone with nobody else there and no services in place. So we're sort of that eyes and ears of their recovery every day. So now that's just been expanded to 10 days.
Kind of like a care aide, right? Like a
Yes.
at-home nurse.
Yeah, you're coming in, you're checking, and yes, we do Food and Friends program, which I talked about, was a social luncheon. We organize a healthy living bag. So that's a produce bag once a month that you can register for. And we can deliver, you can pick up. We now have a huge volunteer opportunities, whether it's in the cafe, it's in the kitchen, it's driving. We never turn a volunteer away. So like our programs, they're barrier free, so is our volunteer program. I don't know, what else do I do? What do we do? I'm thinking. Yeah, and we've partnered with the local school districts. So we had some of the schools in the inner city come with their teachers, and we would develop a little route for them that they could walk to and deliver to the seniors, so that, the seniors are getting to see the youth, and the youth are feeling a little more connection to a senior. If they didn't have them in their life, they could feel like they're intimidating. So developing more of a relationship with intergenerational. I think that's it.
Yeah. So you just mentioned volunteering there. How do you think you can maybe get more younger volunteers involved, more of the youth?
Well, we have had a ton of youth here this weekend, or this past week and this upcoming week because of spring break. Right. So we invite the schools, all of Langley, to come in. They've been in the cafe, they've been in the back prepping and chopping and peeling, and they've been just amazing, and they keep coming back. Awesome. We put them to work chopping onions and they come back.
That's really good. No, that's good that you guys can take advantage of the spring break and the fact that school's off.
Yes, and we'll continue through the summer, and hopefully eventually we can start some kind of employment program where people that are interested in cooking or chef or culinary can come in, do practicums and work here.
That's a really good idea, actually. What else do we have here? Let's see. Do you have anything else? We can go to conclusion after we pause here. So I think to tie everything together here, we can't, the story is that there is a story that needs to be told, that Langley Meals on Wheels is more than just a meal. And that right now there is a need for volunteers, there is a need for an awareness. So with that being said, what would you like to see? What would you use as measures of success for these kind of markers?
I think seeing our volunteer base grow would definitely be the marker, one of our markers, and being able to expand our programs and do even more, because we really have been very reactive to what we hear the needs are in the community, but then there comes a time when you can't do more because you don't have either the volunteer base or and the staff. So growing the volunteer base would enable us to do even more in the community, I think, through programming and what the community wants us to do. And for awareness, I think, maybe more people looking at the program or trying the program before they have a very urgent need, I think would.
Awareness, you said, was your biggest problem. What are a couple steps that you've been doing to kind of raise more awareness, and what channels do you think you can raise more awareness through?
Well, we definitely have enlisted a young person who had a social media company, and so she's just been helping us because she's on maternity leave, And then just really trying to build that awareness through our website and social media. And now we'd really like to have an interactive a newsletter so that we can sort of tell our story in a more friendly reading, way, or that people can look into different pieces of it if they're getting it through the internet.
I think that's great. I think, because you guys help the older generation, they might not all be that great with the social media aspect. So you have a, hard copy newsletter or email newsletter that they can read and kind of, briefly get what you guys do and some stories you tell, which is awesome. And then you also, social media is good for the kids of the adults who are seniors are going through this stuff, because most of the time it's them who are doing the orders and setting it all up, right? That's great. Not attacking, but finding all the channels and all the groups that you need to speak to. It's awesome.
Yeah, and they often need a break too then, right? They're looking for some caregiving respite so that they can take a break or,
That's
know
fair.
that somebody's watching.
Right. That's awesome. It's awesome.
Jayce, do you want to go with the signature question? So this is
Signature
this has
question.
been asked to all the other.
I can do signature.
Yeah,
My honor to do the signature question. Absolutely. Do you think people do good because they're selfless or because of selfish reasons, and why?
Oh, you would have to be selfless to do like what we're asking, right? The commitment level is pretty high, and we are asking you to probably, use your own resources because you're driving your own car and putting mileage on there, and we're actually putting quite a big ask of you because we are asking you to come back and report to us, on the health and well-being of our clients that you're delivering that meal to. And it can be also hard to see people in different situations that, some people that say, I can't do that. It's not a glamorous job sometimes, going into different areas and serving different people. So definitely it's selfless. But then it becomes selfish because it's addicting.
You could say that, yes. I know when we spent our time here volunteering, I genuinely enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, even though I was just in the kitchen chopping up desserts and cakes, it was fun work. I got to talk to some of the other volunteers there.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's we did the drive and the route, and it is a little gut wrenching seeing people in their scenarios, and having people ask you the same question 4 or 5 times, and you can see that they're not all there, but then you look that they're by themselves, and it's that's tough in that standpoint, but you know that you're helping them, right? That's what it kind of makes it all better. But this for sure, you take that stuff home with you, absolutely. And I think for sure, absolutely selfless to do the job, absolutely.
That makes sense. All right, so I think with nothing else, for our listeners at home, for the call to action, there's a need for volunteers here. You can go to the website, langleymealsonwheels.com, I believe. .ca. Sign up as a volunteer, come down here and help out, basically. And there's also more, and check out all the programs on the website as well. And Shannon, thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure and a first-time thing, so it was great.
You're awesome. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Come back anytime.
I'm sure we will.
Great.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to Community Talks. This episode was produced by Helping Hands. To learn more about Langley Meals on Wheels and how you can support them, check out their website, LMOW.ca. Links and more information will be in the show notes below. If you liked this episode, please consider dropping a like and sharing with friends. Once again, thank you for listening to the Community Talks